You're listening to Overwatch Contenders Daily, your path to daily news, scores, and insights into the Overwatch League stars of tomorrow. Here's your host, LemonKiwi.
Hope the Monday's going swell. This is Overwatch Contenders Daily, and I'm your host, LemonKiwi. Today's guest is a good one. Karasuno have clinched their spot going into Contenders for North America, and I brought on their off-tank guru to talk about their journey from Open Division to the second place team from Trials going into Contenders. It's going to be a good one. I'm excited to hear about it. But there's tons of Contenders news to cover. Let's start with that. In North America, off-tank and sub-main tank from the London Spitfire, that's Wuyal and TZ, have joined XL2. In European news, British Hurricane have acquired Nesh as a projectile player from Snake's #1 EU Trials team, and they've also acquired Mikey A, who competed, I believe he was a Tracer player for Mayhem Academy in NA Contenders. They've acquired both those players as Craggy drops to reserves, and I believe he played Tracer. And I guess he'll be looking for other offers. Make sure you hit him up. Second in European news, Orglis and Hungary top 8 contender team for EU have announced their new roster heading into the upcoming contender season. That's including the addition of Denya, Kevster, Caspier, Latex, and Leodeds. Immortal and Visibility have left the team. In Australian news, DPS player Colorhex, this is a main DPS player from Masterminds Gaming Club. They place second in Australia Contenders. He has moved to championship roster Sydney Drop Bears, and these guys placed first. So I love the rivalry roster mania going on in Australia. But speaking of roster mania, or rosters in general, Australia has also announced their World Cup roster, and this includes very familiar names to the community, including Trill, I Eat You Up, Custa, and others. So I will have an interview with one of the committee members next Sunday, so make sure you guys tune in for that. In China news, Vici Gaming, this is a Chinese team that took Chinese Trials 7-0. They beat everybody. They disbanded right after Trials after being a team for 2 years. So that's unfortunate, but wish them the best in their endeavors. But that's it for Contenders news. Let's get into my interview with Guru from Karasuno. And I'm joined here with Zechariah Kappos, or you know him as Guru, the off-tank from Karasuno, now playing under a new banner known as Skyfoxes. They went from 12th seed in the regular season to finishing second in Open Division playoffs to now second seed in Trials with a 6-1 record. And you guys are looking to prove yourselves in Contenders, but first, thank you for joining me. Zechariah, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Happy to be here. We just came off a win for against Eminent 4-0, playing with 2 subs, so I'm feeling great.
Yeah, it was a 4-0, and you've got like sort of new players coming in, but I want to say again, congratulations for making Contenders. It looked like some tough competition coming into Trials, but I'm more curious about your match versus #1 seed LNL. Since those matches weren't broadcasted, we didn't get to see all the action, but I need the cliff notes of what happened. So you handed them their first and only loss in Trials. So guide me through how that happened.
Basically, we didn't get a warm-up. We all have to warm up on our own. And we always have a slow start if we don't have a warm-up. So they took the first map. It went 1-1 on, I think, Ilios. And then they ended up 2-1 and took the map. And then we started to get into the groove. We started getting it going, and we just, I don't know, we just outclassed them. I feel like they seemed like really scrambled. They weren't playing together, and then by the end, we were full holding them. So, yeah.
So how come it was so close between you two, and what did you guys kind of figure out to counter LNL? Our coaching staff has actually done so much for us. I think we would probably be bottom of the bracket without our coaching staff. Oh wow.
They are. Yeah, I attribute a lot of our success to our coaching staff, Fossis and Obasil, Ray Rain, and they've just helped us out so much. Having analyzing enemy VODs, countering their strats. and pretty much telling us what to do, fixing a lot of mistakes.
Right. Well, that's great. I mean, that's exactly what coaches are there for, analyzing the VODs, and that's what's kind of interesting about trials is that none of the all of NA trials were not broadcast. I was thinking about EU where Broadcast GG did that, so there's some matches there, but you guys don't really have much of or know what's going on. And I know LNL are very secretive with their VODs and their strategies. I had interviewed Kate, and she's very on the lockdown of what they try to do, but it was kind of exciting to see you guys take that match. You're still only in second, but I'm looking forward to see if you guys meet each other in playoffs, although you are in separate groups for the regular season. I wish I got to watch that match, but now to go over the other teams that made Contenders. So only 2 teams from Open Division made Contenders this season. So your team and Mirage Esports. And first of all, were you surprised by the results of who made it in and who didn't? So, you know, nobody seemed threatened by Mirage because they had bought their spot. And Goats, who were looking really good coming in, kind of bottomed out. So were you surprised about how everything turned out?
I was surprised, like, Goats... I kind of feel bad for the guys because, I mean, yeah, they were banned and all that, but their roster was insanely strong. Like in Pit and in the Beat tournament, they were really strong with their full roster. But they had to, you know, when you pick up subs and or pick up new players and you don't really scrim, it's kind of like you're asking for a loss. Like, I mean, they're all cool guys or whatever, but if you don't scrim, you're just asking to lose. I'm not really surprised by the results. These are the teams that I thought were going to be top 4. Actually, wait, is it?
Oh, wait, I just see that second win. I just looked at the standings right now. I refreshed. I was wondering if second win was going to clinch it, but I apologize. I will correct myself. Second win clinched the 4th spot over Mirage. So still another Open Division team, but wow. Are you surprised about second win then?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
It seems like Mirage is much better. I don't know what happened in their last map, their last match against LNL. I think they were very prepared for it, but they just they couldn't do it for whatever reason.
Yeah, that series ended up 3-1 for second win versus Mirage today. I guess that just wrapped up not too long. Oh wait, nope, sorry, wrong week. Second win 2-0 Goats today. That's a little bit surprising to me. I thought Goats would take that. And Goats lost to Eminent, so...
Yeah, Goats ended up... They're having a rough time, man.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say.
That is rough, and I think I interviewed Goats like at the start and when they added XQC, and I think it was a question of maybe difference in play style. Maybe obviously scrims comes in when you got a guy who streams all the time and whatever else the other teams, everybody else is doing, but... When there's a playstyle mismatch, it seems that's probably what Goats' problem was, right?
Yeah, I mean, if they scrimmed even like 2 hours a day, I think they would be like top of Contenders. But you know, what can you do? I am very surprised that Mirage got knocked out. I was expecting them to be up there with us going to Contenders. It almost doesn't feel right because they're all very good players. So I hate to see them go down like that.
Yeah, Mirage were actually in a good spot up until today when I was looking at the standings. It was the other way around. So I guess because second win took that win over Goats and Mirage lost to LNL, it flipped things around. So bit of a surprise there. But now let's get back onto your team. So yes, surprises, but not surprises through who made it. But from grinding from Open Division now through trials and beyond, what has been your team's weakest points, your counters, and what is your team's strength that you discovered and then improved upon as time went on?
Weaker points is showing up to scrims.
Oh yeah, you told me that.
Yeah. Couple of the players, I don't know, they didn't see they had like maybe a bad mindset at the beginning. They weren't showing up to scrims, but that changed very quickly once they saw how fast we were progressing and like synergizing as a team. There was a few weeks where I'm not going to name players, but they were getting like really good offers. I was included in that. They were getting offers to just signed teams, so they were asking for like salaries and stuff, or asking, excuse me.
Yeah.
They were offering salaries, so
you're a bit worried about how your team is going to shape up, and do you even still have a team? So I can see the morale being weird. But I mean, they stuck together. I guess they declined or something
Yeah.
happened, but you guys stuck together and made it through, right?
Very proud of my team. Yeah, I'm like, I love those guys. Honestly, I love them. Counters and strengths. I think our strengths are definitely in our DPS and like basically protecting them the whole game, enabling them as much as we can. Basically playing around them because they're both Far and Busio are insane at the game.
Yeah.
I think I think the whole team does exactly what they need to do in order to win. So I think everyone on the team is very good.
Well, I mean, as an off tank, that's exactly your role, is not only appealing for your main tank, but keeping your DPS alive. And we had just talked before this interview how crazy Busio is at Hanzo, and we had both agreed one of the best new Hanzos in Contenders, if not you've ever seen. And you've probably played with a lot of people more than I've seen. So,
yeah.
I'm just excited to see what you guys will do in Contenders, because we talked about, what competition you might expect, right? But now with this new meta and how important Hanzo really is in these fights, you guys have a really a big upper hand with Boostio on your team.
Yeah. I feel like so blessed to have him on my team. Like, he's actually very crazy. He was on Eminent. Like, we played Eminent today. He was on Eminent, but he was kicked off at some point. Whatever,
yeah, I remember that thing in Open Division, how you guys beat them in Open after he got dropped or something.
And then I'm like, yeah, get Boosty on our team, as soon as he got dropped. So yeah, now we're going places with him.
I remember that in Open Division, hearing something like he kept getting picked or he kept dying. And that was like the reason I heard he got dropped. And I mean, no discredit to anybody. When something doesn't work out, you switch your roster up. And you guys like seriously made a good choice. And this is highlighting Boostio, but as like this, he wouldn't be able to work without the peel of you, the tanks, and the supports. And as a team, you guys really did great in trials. And beating LNL, I think it's a serious medal to her, or an achievement to say. But although when trials went really well for your team, Overwatch Pit Season 3 didn't go so hot. So you dropped 0-6 in map count, got out first round to teams like Envision and Grizzly. So why was that so different than how well you guys did in trials?
So for the Pit tournament, that was on the new patch, and we've been practicing for old patch 1.22. So that's the old Hanzo. When we were scrimming on the live server with the new patch, we were trying not to play Hanzo like at all, because it was a crutch at that point, and we were not going to be able to use that in trials. So that's pretty much why. Also, we had a couple of players trialing for different teams at that point, so that also adds to it.
Oh yeah, the scrim thing, and then the question mark internally of what's going on. But yeah, I remember because I think I interviewed a team recently where they were like, oh yeah, we focused more on Pit than trials, and that's why they did so good in Pit but not trials. And there's teams like you where you focus on obviously the more important outcome being trials. You focus on that patch, and I think that's what I was worried about from Open Division teams going into trials. You got like a whole different meta from Open that you guys have been practicing on, and then you go into trials with like a kind of a different set, a different play style and a different stuff that you're going to use. So you guys did the right thing in focusing on adapting to 1.22, right?
Yeah, we're definitely prioritizing trials here, because I mean, it would have been nice to win the money and like focus on Pit, but then we probably wouldn't have done so well in trials. So I mean, it's a trade-off. I mean, you saw what Goats did. They practiced for Pit and then
I think that's who I was talking about. They were like, "Oh yeah, get that Pit money," and then and then that's the whole everywhere else. So, but that's also, I mean, you told me they were locking scrims, which I didn't even know that. So I mean, but it was. I remember talking to LNL about how difficult this schedule was, because you guys got Pit, you guys got trials, and whatever scrim schedule you guys have, VOD reviews. So it was just an intense time, and for people to do well in both Pit and trials is. Yeah, I don't even think that's possible to practice for both patches, but obviously you guys prioritized the right thing and it paid off. But now that you guys got your spot in Contenders, there's some really tough academy teams that you're going to face. And I was talking to your coaching staff there, and with the second seed, this will place you in Group B alongside teams of, like say, Toronto Esports, Envision, XL2, NRG, and then I think bye week. I think yes, bye week. Okay, I was making sure that the teams didn't switch up. Bye week will be with you in that group. So, is there a particular team that you're looking forward to facing? And do you think which team do you think your team will have the biggest challenge against?
I'm really looking forward to going against. Well, I want to rematch against NRG, but I really want to go against XL2 Academy. I think I think they're probably the best in that group, and it'd be nice to take them down. I think it's
because of the
possible.
new additions.
Yeah.
We all.
Yeah.
TZ.
I'm not sure. I think it was. I'm not sure who just got picked up, but they have some big names on there, and yeah, it would be nice to beat them for sure.
Dude, there's so much like crazy players from Overwatch League coming to Contenders. Like, is it NRG that just picked up Rascal, and there's XL2 that just picked up Weall, and I want to say pronounced Tzi or TZ. Those are London Spitfire players. So, does that kind of scare you that Overwatch League players are now coming to Contenders and making this kind of a tougher season for you?
It doesn't scare me at all. I look forward to playing against better players. Like, I'm always trying to get better, and beating them, that would be like a huge accomplishment, I think. So yeah, I'm always looking to go against better players. I'm glad they're in here. It's making the T2 scene better.
Yeah, and I mean, if you can beat someone like Weall, then hey, you're, I guess, Overwatch League material, and then you can prove yourself that way. I don't know, but I liked how your coaching staff called XL2 like NYXL Junior. And you think that'll be your biggest competition, or more energy?
Probably. Energy's good, but I think XL2 is the team we have to watch out for.
And are you worried at all for Toronto Esports now that they lost their championship coach, and I think they just got a new one recently? So Toronto, although they went second, doesn't really bother you?
I'm not really. I mean, everyone's beatable.
Everyone's beatable.
Yeah, everyone's human, so they can lose just like everyone else.
Well, I think. Sorry, go for it.
I think that we will be able to be one of the best teams in Contenders, if not the best, with our roster.
Well, it's always exciting to see open division teams come in and kind of surprise everybody, especially with how much practice you guys have on New Patch, which will be what Contenders, I believe, is going to be played on. And that's where Boostio comes in. We already talked about that and how your whole team synergizes around him and that play style. So I wonder if they'll be able to sort of adapt to that.
Yeah, I think we will be. We are, right now, I think our biggest weakness is that we're all playing on like different ping. Like, we have Hadan in Portugal right now, and he's playing on like 180 ping. We have DPS, he's playing on like 250 ping when we go to East Coast. I'm playing on like 100 ping because I live in the middle of nowhere. So right now we're looking for orgs. We're looking for like a gaming house. And I think, I mean, we have the proper staff, so all we have to do is put in the time, and anyone's beatable.
And hopefully you fix up everybody showing the scrims, right? I guess everyone's going to start showing up the scrims now that you're in Contenders, right? As long as you don't get poached by Overwatch League sort of mid-season. I know that kind of happens to some teams, and that's kind of scary.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, it'd be good for anyone to get picked up.
Oh, yeah. I guess that is the whole goal of this, right? So, I mean, that would be a good thing. Not as good for the rest of your team, but... So, is there, like, any trust issues within the team if, like, people are kind of looking elsewhere? Or are you guys now solid that you're in Contenders?
It's kind of a weird issue, or a weird situation, I guess. Because I... right now I have an offer to go to Maryville, and Maryville University for their Overwatch team. It's going to be like a full scholarship there.
Well, congrats.
Accommodation, thank you. But it's like, do I choose Karasuno or do I choose Maryville? And I'm having like an internal...
You're conflicted, yeah.
Yeah.
So what's your decision going to be? Are you... Or at least what are you leaning towards? Because there's salary, but then there's Overwatch League potential Contenders thing going on.
I don't know. I think either way is going to be good. I can't really come to a full decision right now.
Yeah. Well,
it's just, yeah.
And I think you're the only off tank right now, right? And I think I was asking your coaching staff, are we seeing any roster changes in the future? But you guys are very, at least, comfortable at the moment. But
yeah, I mean, we had our main tank play deep or off tank today in the match, but yeah, but no, we don't have a like an off tank sub.
Yeah, because it's DPS and Ace of Spades. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
our DPS is our main tank, and Ace of Spades is our sub, and Sun is our sub as well.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Well, I mean, I wish you like so much success wherever you end up. I mean, salary's good, Contenders, Overwatch League, and beyond is good, and having a good off tank is such a pillar of how your team rolls through these fights. And I think you have a lot of fans probably either watching this or around the community that will be happy wherever you end up, and wherever Boostio and Far. I know a lot of people are like, okay, Boostio's going to Overwatch League, like it's totally decided that he's going to end up there somehow. And even Hedon is, I think, one of the better Zenyatas definitely. In Contenders. So it's like it's just a matter of time almost of where you guys are all going to end up.
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much for joining me for this interview. It's been great to get to know your journey, and that you guys are having a bright future ahead of you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here.
All right, well, that was Guru, and I'm LemonKiwi. This was Overwatch Contenders Daily, and we will see you on Wednesday.
Bye.
You're listening to Overwatch Contenders Daily, your path to daily news, scores, and insights into the Overwatch League stars of tomorrow. Here's your host, LemonKiwi.